Every chord you can imagine, right? What? Every chord you can imagine.
Right.
They're all different now too.
Let's see.
It's ready.
All right, let's rise for the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Call the meeting to order. Nice seeing everybody without their face covered. Roll call, please.
Gallagher,
Here.
Hines,
Here.
Gallo. Here. Ishfording,
Here,
Foster,
Present.
Okay, just for clarification, if they're remotely, they need to state where they are located for the record.
Richard, where are you?
Northport, Michigan.
Good, thank you, sir.
Foster,
Northport, Michigan.
Jack,
Here.
Wessel,
Here. Thanks very much. At this time, I look for approval of the agenda as presented.
So moved. Sorry.
Moved and supported. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Look for approval of the minutes from March 16th, 2021.
Move to approve. Second.
Any changes, modifications, or comments? Call the question. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Public comment. If you wish to call in, it's 231-256-8109. And we'll continue on with our agenda. If we get a phone call, we'll just pause and take it. So moving on to discussion action items, the review of Merrick Road property documents, pages 6 through 8. John? Good. Like?
Come forward.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Now my oversight, I don't know if I sent this to you.
I've got the agenda. Trudy sent everything.
Okay. All right, so if you had an opportunity to review the purchase agreement?
Somewhat. I only got it yesterday, but I think everything looks correct. If there's a statement in there with the option to renew, that would, or to extend, I guess if I got to a certain.
Our discussion was that there was an intent to.
That was the only thing.
And please, anybody else, if you have questions, feel free. I'll look for that.
I've got a couple of typos. I think they're typos.
Go ahead.
I've got a couple of typos in here.
Yeah.
The third line where it says corporate,
Yeah.
I would imagine that means corporation, but I'm not sure.
I'll check.
And then on item 4, first line, there being a persistent need for affordable housing within Leelanau County, there's a period there. Probably should be there's a comma there, right? No, there should,
Period.
period should probably be a comma, because it's not a complete sentence with just the period. So in other words, that thing's a whole one sentence.
I'm not gonna argue with you. Okay. Any other?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Typos.
I had just a couple of little bits cleaned up on page 7 under item 7, down in the second line from the bottom, November 30th, there's a underline there.
Yeah.
And then under 8, the font changes from this document, so just minor things to get cleaned up for the attorney.
Okay.
John, can I ask Jonathan?
Yes, please.
Jonathan, you mentioned an extension period. Are you anticipating not getting the funding in place by the end of December of this year?
Potentially. I mean, there may be some final funds and things that are going to trickle through that we wouldn't be able to have. And it's not that we would expect to, but just to have the ability to extend or the option to extend.
Would you be uncomfortable if we just discuss that if it comes up?
We can.
I mean,
We can. I just want you to know
Yeah.
that, you know, I mean, I'm 2.5 years into the honor project getting financing, and we're just about to finish the last bit of monies. I mean, it's,
Well, in that section 7, there is a line, it's the one that I just said where the underline is at, that allows requests for an extension to be brought forward, provided you do it by the end of November.
okay,
Is that sufficient?
That's
for what
fine.
you're saying?
that's fine. So it's 7 on page 7.
Yeah, item number 7 down towards the bottom.
By written agreement in this full
And
expenditure.
can you tell us when the next grant deadline is that you are working on for this project?
Yeah, June 15th is the pre-application submission deadline, and then the final application is July 30th.
are you on track to? Okay.
Yep, we've got a member bank lined up. It's Independent Bank. I'm meeting with them Thursday, and we're just finalizing our pro forma, the rate and terms that they're going to have. It looks good, and I'm continually going to other foundations, always hitting them with an executive summary. Are you interested? Are you interested? So I'm pursuing it full-hearted. Yeah.
I saw in, I think it was the ticker, little press release or whatever.
Yep.
And now it looks like we're going down to 8 instead of 10.
That's right.
And the total value is proportionately down to, was it 1.6?
Approximately.
Okay.
Yeah, it may be 1.625, or I'm trying to get some bids in whether or not we need to upgrade the M204 to Merrick Road. The county hasn't decided whether or not they want that portion upgraded. It's their jurisdiction, because our road, the driveway comes and enters onto Merrick Road. We're not entering onto M204, so it's the county's jurisdiction, the road commission, to decide whether they want M204 upgraded. And MDOT said it was up to the county. So we're trying to get them to decide.
I'd say, yeah,
Mhm.
it shouldn't hold you up.
No, it's just a pricing,
Yeah.
you know, and I'll have a contingency, but today I have to turn in all of our documents for the application for the land use permit or special land use permit to Steve Patmore. So this is really timely to have this. I'll let them know that this document's in process today. And then maybe by the time the meeting, which occurs, I think, June 1st, with the Suttons Bay Planning Commission, that we'll have an actual document showing possession. And then my thought is that this is the similar document where you're actually transferring the warranty deed to Homestretch, and that in the event
That's next on the agenda, yeah.
Okay,
We'll discuss that.
okay.
Yeah. Anything else on the actual purchase agreement?
Are we going to discuss the warranty deed before acting on this purchase agreement, John?
Well, yeah, I was gonna ask you, you brought up some questions regarding with these emails, and I was gonna ask how you
Yeah.
wanted to approach it.
Well, if I could ask Jonathan, couple questions. And then,
Please.
Jonathan, for purposes of your grant, securing funding, do you need the property? We've gone through this before, but I want to go back to it. Do you need the property in the name of Homestretch, or can it be a deed that is held in escrow?
Preferably in our name so that we have full control of the property. Now,
Can you get that after you are approved for the grant? Because I have some strong concerns based on previous projects we've worked with, where deeds have been,
transferred.
executed and recorded, and then the county has to spend time and money to take back property.
Right.
To me, it's a cleaner method if we approve the warranty deed today, to hold it in escrow for a period of time.
Mm-hmm. So the way that we did it in Honor, and this is not the same attorney, I believe, but they transferred the deed to Homestretch, but retained a document that if we get to that date that we cannot perform by, or we don't build out, you have that document to then record against the property that says that agreement is pulled back and that we no longer, Homestretch, have possession of the property. So it's already set up in motion that way. So I think I sent you those documents that we used on the Honor project, and that was my intent. And I think they've followed that method here, that you have a clawback document that you can record at date certain. If I don't meet this date requirement, that you retain possession back.
Well, again, for me, that's a tricky situation.
Right.
And you're gonna spend time and effort and money on your end to acquire this property. And then it doesn't work out, and then we're gonna have to do the same thing to say, we're taking the property back.
Yep.
To me, it's just much cleaner that if it works for the grant process, is to do the warranty deed if the land bank agrees today.
Mm-hmm.
But we hold it in escrow, and we don't record it as register of deeds yet.
Okay, so
Does that work for you?
I can't say yes or no, but what I can say is that I have a technical review coming up with the Federal Home Loan Bank, and I can vet that with them. I can say, okay, here's the document, here's how we've set it up. Is this acceptable? Will I get the points? And that technical review, I've got to schedule it. It'll be sometime probably at the end of this month or early next.
This agreement here, should show more than intent.
That's my thinking, because it does say it conveys.
Yeah.
Right.
I would echo Trudy's concerns. I think Trudy and I are only two left from that last fiasco we had to put up with. It was a legal courthouse property, and that cost us thousands of dollars to recapture. So if possible, I would certainly agree with Trudy's method here to protect ourselves.
And that will require some changes in these documents according to what our attorney had told us, some minor tweaking to make sure that we're putting it in escrow and not just signing it over.
Okay. Trudy, what kind of minor tweaking? So if it's minor.
It was in the email.
Yeah, okay. It's those, okay.
Yeah. Our attorney could make those changes so that we just put it in escrow.
Okay.
Hold that.
As I remember, they weren't significant changes, were they?
No.
So in theory, we could approve this pending the final modification by legal counsel. Just wait another month.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with that, so that lets Jonathan know that we're moving forward, but we're not actually deeding that property over. And, I appreciate you saying that there's other documents been used in other situations, but once things are recorded, it's a lot harder to unwind it.
Yeah, it is funny because they had it set up so that it was fairly simple procedure. In fact, once we met the performance, we proved that we're going to build and we're getting our permits. I received a FedEx package of the recorded or the unrecorded document that says that they have the right to take it back. And they sent it to me to destroy it. It would have been your ticket to take the property back. At any time after that agreement that we signed with that date, if it passed, you can just record that and say, okay, the first agreement's null and void. The land bank now owns the property.
If I might my concern is you're not using your money.
My money?
Your money. This isn't your money. So this isn't an arm's length, where I know the repercussions of improved infrastructure without a lease, or without a deed.
Right,
So
right,
that's my concern, is that the 1.6
Right.
now becomes a liability. You
Sure.
know?
Sure.
And that's where I would agree with Trudy and Chet. If approved,
Yeah.
we move forward.
Right.
If not approved, then we don't have to unwind anything. I mean, you're not gonna start the project.
Right.
And hopefully this revised purchase agreement will satisfy the intent needed to get that one.
okay. I'm good with that, and I'll take it to the technical review. And if there's a problem with it and they kick it back, then we can revisit it. But I'm almost 100% positive this is.
Yeah, and if there's additional, if we have to give you a power of attorney or something like that for the development of the property or something,
Right.
We could bring it before our corporate council, have discussion, so that, to try to assist you in getting that point.
Sure, sure. It's important for the permitting process too, for the entitlements, that I have to show possession to be able to actually change the zoning on the property.
Yeah.
So.
Well, for the, time being.
And yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine. So, if you wanted to make any modifications and send it, I have the authority to execute it on behalf of Homestretch and present it to the Federal Home Loan Bank. And if there's a change after the fact, then we can make an adjustment. But we'll know before July 30th, before that application gets turned in.
So Chet,
Yeah, I'll move that we approve a modified property agreement and warranty deed with modification recommended by our corporate counsel. And once agreed upon by our planner, that Mr. Gallagher be authorized to sign the documents.
And we're gonna hold warranty in escrow?
Yeah, that's part of the modification, yeah. So basically, my motion is Mr. Perrell make the changes, have Trudy review them first, and if Trudy feels comfortable with them, then John will be authorized to sign the documents.
One little tidbit here, it's very small. On the warranty deed, it lists your zip code as 49684. Thought I read somewhere where it's 49685. No, this is, okay, my mistake.
That's it. Yep.
any other comments or discussion?
Just a question, do we need anything in writing that informs us that Jonathan is the person to execute the purchase agreement on behalf of Homestretch?
I have something on record from the previous.
Okay.
It's a board resolution giving me the authority to sign on behalf of the corporation.
On there, but
Okay.
very specific. Any other questions or comments?
Richard or Rick?
Richard, Rick, comments, questions? Go ahead.
Has the property been, the improvements taken off yet? They're still there?
They were vandalized and gutted. So basically, it's just empty shell and it's worthless.
Okay.
And they left the door open so animals got in there, chewed up cupboards.
That's a shame.
Well, just to clarify that, this purchase agreement says this property is being sold as is. Okay.
All right, so just a roll call or just a standard vote?
I'd like a roll call.
Roll call, please. Motion by Chet, seconded by Mr. Wessel.
Gallagher,
Yes.
Hines,
Yes.
Gallup,
Yes.
Ishperding,
Yes.
Foster,
Yes.
Guy,
Yes.
and Wessel.
Yes. All right. Unanimous. And we'll get that to corporate council back. What is your deadline? To have that June 1st?
June 15th is the pre-application deadline.
Yeah, but
I-
you're having a,
Technical review. I haven't scheduled it yet. I'll know after I meet with the bank Thursday, so I could
you
get
have to have this document for that meeting.
for the technical review. It would be, yeah,
So please let me know when that is and we'll get started.
okay.
All right, thank you.
Yep, thank you all.
Next thing on the agenda is our 2021 foreclosed properties. Excuse me, I didn't bring my phone. I emailed my counsel. There's new rules as to foreclosed properties and first right of refusal and excess sale proceeds. As a commissioner and administrator know that the county treasurer is being sued, I think in 2 different courts at this time, trying to certify a class action on previous year's sales proceeds. New this year, the legislation has added the land bank as part of the county first right of refusal. So the precedent of going before the board of commissioners is moot point now because we're able to exercise that option ourselves.
Is that law now?
Mhm.
Okay.
My understanding, I'm getting clarification, is that we do have to pay the minimum bid because of the new rules. So the minimum bid for these 7 parcels would be 12.7. As I said, we've done some research, looking at the aerials. I haven't visited the sites. I know that 2 or 3 are not buildable, but 4 are perfect lots. And it'd be my inclination that the land bank take all of these parcels. For the unknown owner, it's a side lot, so my rationale would be that the grants who own the other adjacent parcel are interested and they want it.
I'm sorry, John, which one is that?
Unknown, 01.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
It's that.
Yep.
Grants Corner.
Yep.
Just can I ask a question on that one, John?
Yeah.
Would the road commission have any interest in that for future purposes? They don't. Okay.
They, every time I bring it to them, they don't like it.
Okay. I just thought if they ever have to widen something or work along there, maybe they want that ever.
They would have eminent domain. So they get to do whatever they want anyway.
The one in Centerville is pretty close to where we did several housing projects.
And the Roseanne Chaco is a tiny, I don't know the zoning out there, but I doubt it's buildable.
It's, we took a
Nick
project over in the
Schaube.
past.
Yeah, his daughter-in-law bought the parcel to the north of it and put a house up of Roseanne, and she's interested in the property.
There is a house to the east of this, right along M22.
Mhm. This might be right behind her house,
Yeah.
so.
I'm in agreement with you that we should put these into the land bank. Since you said that we have right of first refusal, is there an order for state, townships?
Yes.
You know, is there an order that we have to go through first before land bank has a chance?
Yes, that was my next point of conversation. If we're in agreement that that's the way we want to pursue, I still have to offer to the city, villages, townships, any properties in their jurisdiction. And they have taken away the public use clause in that first right of refusal. In the past, what would happen is I would offer the property to, say Bingham Township for that corner. But it would have to be for public purpose. Legislation has changed, so the public purpose is no longer there. So we might have more interest from our locals on these properties. I doubt on subdivision lots, and stuff like that. But nonetheless, I have to offer it to them. The state only requires me to offer it to them if it's adjacent to a DNR parcel. Otherwise, they do not want any property. They sent us a form letter 2014, 15, that until otherwise noticed, it's just parcels adjacent to DNR. And they're looking for square 40s. And I offered one to them in the middle of the Cedar Swamp, square 40, in the middle of all their land, and they turned it down. So the conservancy about it. But so that's the process. I've got to do that next month. So by the time we meet, I should have a response back from everybody. So from this meeting, I would go and draft the letters to each of the townships for these properties. And they have to, or their supervisor has to sign off that they do not want them. And I get that back, and then I can bring it forward to the next land bank meeting for action.
John, I got a couple questions. If you were to take title, if we find out there's like environmental pollution, is the county responsible for that? Do we have potential?
Because it's an involuntary process, we get kind of a safeguard.
Okay,
We're not actively, technically, doing it. But if it lies within the treasurer's office and it stays there, it's held harmless. Now, land bank is going to do an active acquisition by paying money for this. So yes, they do have the liability, but that's the purpose. The land bank is there to clean up and remediate and remove all that.
okay.
So
Is your intention to flip these or
that would be
try
a more,
to get them into affordable housing deals or?
I'm speaking on the behalf of myself, not as chair, but I would try to build the buildable lots, and then the side lots. We go ahead and transfer them for a nominal fee back to the adjacent parcel.
Do we know if those properties perk? If you're talking about potential,
From everything that I've seen, they're all subdivisions, so yeah.
well, but yet they're not built on, so maybe there's a reason for it.
No, but I mean, you can see they're unfinished subdivisions, there's vacant lots throughout, all the Timberley.
The one in Timberley, there actually are, I think, 3 Habitat homes in that subdivision.
Oh, that'd be the perfect one for habitat.
Okay, then lastly, with this new state law,
Yes.
if we flip, whatever we flip, if we collect more than what we bought them for, are we having to give that profit back to the original owners?
We're not gonna be the builder or the developer. We're gonna be a landowner and work with somebody like John, Habitat.
But are we gonna get our 12,700 back, or is that our
That's through
contribution?
TIF. Tax
Okay,
equity.
so we're not gonna make a profit.
It would be up to this board. I mean, if we find one that we feel is got market potential and we want to sell it, I mean, that would be the case that we would probably have a claim on our hands by the previous owner. So,
Following along with that, were you done, Dan?
Yes.
Following along with that, if we take, as an example, one of these parcels for $1,000, and we just sell it to, say, a real estate company for $1,000, but they then sell it for a profit, the real estate company doesn't owe back to the property owner?
that liability ends here, in this organization.
Well, based on our mission statement and trying to get more housing in the county, especially for our workforce and affordable housing, I'm of the opinion that we should try to get these and work with our nonprofit organizations for housing. Because we can't control the cost of the building materials, we can't control the cost of permits and, putting in septics and wells, but if we can help with the cost of the land,
Absolutely.
that brings that down a little bit.
Most of these lots would retail 45 grand.
Right.
I mean, you've been out looking lately?
Yeah, I know. Well, then why aren't the original owners trying to sell them then? If that's the market value.
I've had houses, fully functional houses, given away for $3,500 because of family issues. So there is no rhyme or reason. It's not my job to try to figure that one out. But I'm here to clean up the mess.
So John, what's the next step?
Next step would be just gain consensus.
Yeah.
I haven't heard from Ty.
Well, I remember clearly what our vision was, so I think I agree with Trudy, if we can use this and work with nonprofits and expand workforce housing. Some of these lots are a long way. I mean, I don't know what somebody lives out in Cherry Homes is going to do in terms of work, for transportation needs, and so there may be some exceptions to that. I don't know if that one makes
Well,
sense.
that might be market rate.
But
Yeah,
right now,
that's-
take all the lots and deal with them one at a time.
Yeah.
For example, the counter events, the one in Timberlake, I think would be a great location. That's 4 miles from Traverse City. It's in a subdivision, and Habitat has already built 3 homes there.
Yeah.
About 10 years ago or so.
Yeah, same with the Sugarloaf one.
So, I mean, so there's a lot of, I think, options. I don't see a downside.
No, and if we build a market rate house, sell it for the minimum bid to a contractor, and do the same thing with John, and have an agreement, Bill, what have you, through that tax increment financing.
The question, if I'm picking on the one at Cherry Homes again, if because of the distance out, that's probably not, Habitat's tried out there and not been very successful, I think. But could that go to Homestretch or Habitat to sell for profit and then use to support a project that might be kind of more desirable location?
Isn't that kind of basically what happened to Loud Sons Bay in the village?
Yeah.
We sold it to Habitat with the purpose of tearing it down and put a new home, but they were successful, but we allowed them to sell the house and use the profits.
And the profits are held by me.
Yeah.
For the Maple City project.
Yeah, so I mean, that's an example where it worked out. I think it was a win-win situation. Wasn't what we originally were hoping to do, but I think it better go.
But no, I think that's a good idea. It would actually give them a down payment towards the Timberlake, you know. So,
So you're suggesting deeding this to, let's say, have,
I'd say sell it, arm's length,
To Habitat, for example.
Habitat, they go ahead and they can flip it.
okay, and
With-
we're selling it for the amount of property taxes that we owe.
We are, correct,
Okay, so there wouldn't be any clawback to profits. Okay, gotcha.
right. The affordable housing developer may use it as an opportunity to build a market rate house and collect funds to put towards another project, or sell the property as is and use that, and we can dictate, you know, say that those funds are gonna be allocated towards XYZ project.
So is that a discussion, John, for next month's meeting?
I think so.
I mean, because you have to go through your process
I have
first,
to go through
correct?
my process, but I wanted to get it before you, get you thinking.
I think it's certainly worth having a dialogue next month about, it's actually potential, especially one in Timberlake. I'll go look at that lot. That's
Okay.
actually fairly close to my house, and I walked that area quite a bit. I think it's a little hilly, that's maybe why it's vacant, maybe a steep slope there.
Yeah,
But I believe the house next to it is a Habitat house, right next
that
to it.
would be perfect.
Because there's a house in that little circle drive, that's a Habitat house. And in subdivision, there's two other Habitat houses.
That's great. That's great.
And it's only 4 miles from
We
Travis.
should have done that with Barrow's property,
We should have.
and
It's still vacant, completely vacant. I walked it this weekend.
I'm
I was
sick.
thinking the exact same thing.
I'm sick. I spent 20 grand getting deed restrictions off, waited a year and a half. We lost 23 parcels.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it was a
not
different
gonna happen
time,
again along.
different circumstances.
Yeah,
And there's one where we didn't have restrictions that if they didn't do the housing project, we could take it back.
correct. Growing pains. We've had a lot of them.
I'm actually surprised that all those parcels are vacant.
I am too. I
In the
am
market
too.
now, you think.
But they are paying their taxes.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. From me, is that they're being active. Moving down the agenda, I guess if there's no other questions or comments, Rich?
So we didn't need a motion on,
Oh,
Just presentation for discussion. You know, paying it $12,000, I figured we can afford that. And really put some, projects in the pipeline. Hearing no other comments, just any other business? Nothing for claims or post audit. Correspondence, communication items. None. Public comment again, please call in 231-256-8109. Member comments. Trudy, nice to see you on this side of the table.
It's a little easier to participate when I don't have to type as well, so.
Yeah.
Skills, helping us out.
Thank you, Gil. I have no comments, so I take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All those in
Okay.
favor?
aye.
See you guys.
Yeah,
We
just a little time to get ready
Hang
for
on,
next
hang on,
month.
I just got done.
Trudy,
Yes,
this is Rick
Yes.
Foster. I don't have a Zoom,
Just come to my
meeting.
office.
for
Look it up on the.
the Brownfield
Brownfield.
Authority.
it was in the email.
Well, I'll look again, but I
I
didn't see it. I had one for the land bank, but I didn't have one,
I know
I
you're
thought, in the,
first year for you on here.
We're not live. Okay. Rick,
yes.
let me read you off the numbers.
Are the
Okay,
numbers,
that meeting ID.
Struggle.
Is the number the same number?
No, just a moment.
Okay, can you give me the number?
Rick, let me go back to the office and I'll email it to you, okay?
Yes.
Okay, are you gonna email it or do you want to call
We're
it?
still live, so I don't want to do that over live, so let me go email it to you.
Okay, thank you.
I'll do it right now.
Sure.
So you gotta end the meeting and then close that up. Just close it completely.
You don't have to worry.
I know, but I'll tell you what,
I don't know
I
why
don't think
Richard's
people
still on.
think,
Richard needs to
I've
close
got
this
all
down.
my tests and I've had.
Richard, can you hear us?
I can.
But yet I could be A positive, you know, I could be
Yeah.
asymptomatic.
You need to close off at your end, Richard.
Give an example, yesterday at
Okay.
class, a workout class, I walked into the bathroom and people have masks. And
No, just help me get it set up.
And you don't know whether they've been vaccinated.
No, and you're not supposed, I mean, the Y staff is not supposed to ask if you've been vaccinated. I don't know why they have that. I mean, I'd be willing to volunteer, relax everybody, you know, vaccinated. So I think for a little while, okay, guys. Excuse me, is the land bank meeting over with? Okay. Ty, did they, how long ago was the land bank meeting?
Pardon?
The land bank, this before this?
Yeah,
How long ago did it end?
we just ended, started.